Hello and welcome back to the mat. I'm Tati. Welcome to this short yoga sequence for expanding love and bringing a little bit of self-care into your day. You might like to have a bolster at hand for today's class. Don't worry if you don't have a bolster. You can also make use of a rolled up blanket or pillow. And if you don't have any of those things, don't worry, you can also do the class without any props. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and click that subscribe button before we get started in child's pose at the back of our mat. So bringing the knees wide, big toes are touching, and then sinking the hips back towards the heels, walking the arms forward, and then melting the upper body down to the mat. Maybe resting the forehead on the earth, sinking the hips heavy, arriving in your practice today, letting the day melt away. And truth, like love and sleep, resents approaches that are too intense. So take your time today, take it slow. Truth, like love and sleep, resents approaches that are too intense. There's also the option to bring the palms together into prayer and then resting the thumbs on the back of the neck. And exhale, releasing your hands if they were in a variation, lifting the gaze, and then slowly walking the hands towards the body, finding into all four tabletop position. And just starting by placing the right hand underneath the face. Inhale, lifting the left arm, stretching, opening the chest. And then exhale, threading the left arm underneath the right, coming down onto the left shoulder, straightening the right arm forward, or maybe wrapping the right arm around, resting it on the left hip, finding into a bound, thread the needle arms pose. And exhale, releasing, bringing the right hand alongside the face, pressing yourself back up. Inhale, lifting the left arm, expanding the chest, and release, switching sides. So this time the left hand comes to the center of the mat, right arm reaches up, opening the chest, fingertips reach towards the sky, and exhale, threading the right arm underneath, resting the right shoulder and cheek on the mat. The option to either stretch the left arm forward or wrapping it around the back, coming into a bound variation of the pose. This is a nice deep shoulder stretch. You might like to close the eyes and focus inwards, sensing where in the body you're feeling the sensations. And exhale, walking the left hand back to the face. Inhale, expanding the right arm up, open the chest, and exhale, releasing the hands, finding back into your all fours tabletop position. And just flowing through a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, dip the belly, open the chest. exhale, ripple the spine, pressing the floor away. Inhale, finding into cow pose, expand the chest. Exhale, round the spine, finding into cat pose. And then just flowing like this with inhale and the exhale, connecting and moving you between cat and cow. And really feeling into your body, feeling into your spine, bringing movement into all of the vertebrae, the hips and shoulders. And then with the next exhalation, finding back into your all-fours tabletop position, tucking the toes, lifting the hips up and back, finding into downward facing dog. And here you can pedal out the legs, so bending into one knee and the opposite knee, feeling into the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. Maybe shaking the head yes and no, releasing any tension you might be holding onto in the neck, and then finding stillness. Inhale here, and exhale side out with the exhalation. Inhale, bending the knees, looking forward, and then taking lots of little steps all the way to the top of the mat. Your feet are about hip width distance, keeping a nice generous bend in the knee. Hands can rest on the mat or the shins, or you can hold onto opposite elbows and then gently rocking from left to right, releasing any tension in the lower back. And then inhale, finding a flat back, fingertips on the mat or the shins. Exhale, release, forward fold. And this time walking the feet to the outside edges of the mat, so the toes are pointing out, the heels are in, and then slowly start to sink the hips down towards the mat. And don't worry if your heels are up off the mat, you might like to keep your hands in front of you for stabilizers. It can also feel really nice at this point to move from side to side, just to warm up and feel into the hips. And also the option to come into stillness, bringing the hands in prayer, then actively pressing the elbows into the knees to open up. So releasing the hands to the mat, lifting the hips back up, heel toe the feet, again hip width distance, plant the palms, bending into the knees, and then walking the feet backwards into your downward facing dog. And we'll just here for one breath. Inhale, lifting the right leg up towards the sky, and then stepping it forward to the outside edge of your right hand. So we're coming into a lizard lunge over here. So you might like to gently rock backwards and forwards with the left knee lifted. This can really, again, help feel into the hips. And then dropping the left knee, keeping the hands on the mat, or if you have got a bolster or blocks, you can place those underneath the hands just to help lift the chest. Sinking the hip heavy here. And if it's in your practice and you feel like it's nourishing to your body today, you're also welcome to come down onto the forearms. Inhale, if you're on your forearms, pressing back up into lizard, and then walking the right foot to the left side of the mat, bending at the knee, coming down into pigeon pose. So the left leg is extended behind you. You're forming right angles with the mat with your right knee. Inhale, lifting the spine. And you can stay here, or you can start to come down onto the forearms, maybe forming a pillow with the forearms and resting the head, sinking into pigeon. Inhale, gently pressing yourself up, and then from here, while pressing into the hands, rolling onto the right hip and swinging that left leg over, so your right knee stays bent, left foot comes over and across the right leg. If this feels super uncomfortable, you can always straighten the bottom leg, but finding into a seated twist. So inhale, right elbow hooks on the outside of the left knee, left arm floats behind, spiraling the chest open, nice tall spine, gazing over that left shoulder. And exhale, unwind, bringing the hands to the right side and bending forward, finding a counter twist before walking the hands back in front, rolling forward onto the knees and stepping yourself back into a downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here, taking a nice nourishing breath in and exhale out. Inhale, left leg rises, and exhale, stepping the left foot forward to the outside of the left hand, finding into lizard lunge. And here again, you can gently rock backwards and forwards to warm up into the hip. Take a moment to notice if your left and right side feel a bit different, if one hip is tighter than the other. And then exhale, dropping the right knee to the mat, finding into lizard pose. So pressing into the palms, maybe using your blocks to raise your chest. And again, the option, staying here in lizard or coming onto the forearms if it's in your practice. Slowing the breath, nice deep, smooth inhalations and exhalations. Sending the breath into the hips, the lower back. Honoring where your body is today. And then inhale, gently pressing back into your hands if you were on your forearms, edging that left foot to the right side of the mat this time and finding into pigeon on the other side. So the right leg is extended back, left knee is bent, pressing into the fingertips, finding length, open the chest. And you can stay here or folding forward, maybe again forming that pillow with your forearms and resting the forehead. Finding pigeon on the other side. Inhale, gently pressing yourself back up, finding a nice tall spine, and then rolling onto the left leg, swinging the right leg around, keeping the left knee bent or straightening it, and then placing the right foot over and across, finding into your seated twist. This time left elbow hooks onto the outside of the right knee, right arm floats behind, gazing over your right shoulder. And exhale, release. From here, just releasing the legs, straightening them out in front of you, giving them a little shake. Inhale, straighten the arms up. Toes are active, pointing up towards the sky, and then folding forward. So wherever the arms land, try think of bringing the belly towards the thighs rather than bringing the face towards the legs, holding onto the thighs, the calves, maybe holding onto the big toes or wrapping your hands around your feet and then folding forward into Paschimottanasana. Remember to breathe here, letting yourself melt a little further with every exhalation. Inhale, slowly release, coming out of the pose. And for the next one, you can bring your feet together with knees falling away, finding into butterfly pose. I like to always give the bottoms of my feet a little squeeze just to release any tension from maybe wearing shoes too much during the week, and also the option to bounce the knees a little from side to side. And you can stay in your butterfly, holding onto your feet with a nice straight spine, or you can hinge from the hips, rounding forward. Inhale, lifting out. And for the next pose, you might like to use your bolster or your rolled up blanket or pillow. And what we're going to do is just slide it to the back. So keeping the bolster along the long edge of the mat, bringing the short edge to touch the back of your lower back, and then melting the upper body over the bolster. Again, you can keep the feet in butterfly pose, or you can straighten the legs out, whichever one feels more comfortable. Also the option to bring the feet flat. So just playing around here with what feels best in your body. But we really want to try open up the chest, really find that expansion. Hands can rest with the palms facing up. And then just releasing, closing down the eyes. Deepen the breath. You are more cherished than you can possibly know. Open your heart to receive. This is a really great pose to open that chest, opening and encouraging your heart to receive the love that is on its way to you. You are an eternal vessel for love to flow through, and you are enough just as you are. And you can stay here, or you can remove the bolster and find your way into a traditional Shavasana, so lying on your back with the arms and legs stretched away from you. Choosing whichever option feels most nourishing and loving towards yourself today. Inhale. Gently start to notice the room around you. Feeling the sensation of your belly rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. Gently inviting movement back into the body, so gently rubbing the fingers, wriggling the toes. Maybe stretching the arms up and overhead, finding a nice full body stretch. And then in your own time, there's no rush, with your eyes closed, finding your way up into a comfortable seated position. So whatever feels most comfortable to you, finding into a seated position on the mat with the hands resting on the knees. Connecting back with yourself, your physical body, taking note if anything has shifted emotionally, mentally. And know that you are deeply loved, that you're enough, and that an abundance of love is always available for you to tap into. Bringing one hand on the heart and the other on top, Feeling that love in the heart space. Bowing the gaze to your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I really hope that you enjoyed this self-care, loving yoga sequence. If you enjoyed, especially the heart opening poses, please leave me a little comment, or if you are receiving love or wanting to send love, leave a little heart emoji in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button not to miss any new classes, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat again real soon. All my love.